Hello, everybody, and welcome to Another Man's Nostalgia. We revisit everybody's favorite shows, movies, and games from the mid-90s to mid-2000s. Except for today. We are not doing that today.
I really like
That's a good point. No, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. But we went and saw a movie instead. We went and saw Ready Player One.
Welcome to the rebellion, Wade.
Like many of you, I only came here to escape. But I found something much bigger than just myself. Are you willing to fight?
Help us save the Oasis.
So we picked this movie because it has a lot of nostalgia in it. Like, that's pretty much the entire movie is talking
The movie
about.
isn't supposed to be about nostalgia.
Right. And even though it's a little bit before, really, what we kind of cover here.
Some of it.
Felt like it was kind of something that...
Yeah, there's some.
Hold on.
There's a lot of.
It
I would
kept
say
some.
half.
Yeah.
Half and half.
Yeah, sure.
We got these cool pins.
Yeah, so we went the day it came out, so this is...
Justin fought me for the what was it? Artemis.
I wanted an
Artemis
Artemis pen.
Yeah,
He put it on his penis.
I
I don't know why he did that.
that. Already editing. I like it.
All right.
No, yeah, we went the day of, and they were giving out pins.
I left mine in the theater.
Okay, well, it comes
he
with
took mine.
Parzival and Artemis. Anyways,
Artemis.
It was a good time.
Parzival's
And
on my
so,
nipple.
Justin, you read these books, right? Or this book?
I read the book and I also listened to the audio book too.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten both worlds here.
I have listened to the audiobook twice. Once, I think, around when it came out, and then I listened to it about a month or two ago to get ready because the newest movie is coming out.
John?
John,
I watched the movie today.
John enjoyed the movie.
I really did. It was.
This is good because there's
I'm sure there's a big difference between the movie and the book.
Oh, so this is gonna be about 2 hours.
And I don't know.
I felt bad for the people that were sitting around us because me and Justin were like, "Whoa, that's not how it happened."
Yeah. Okay. So
Strap in for a 2-hour podcast.
we all saw it. We three saw it together. And,
It was a good vibe in the theater.
Yeah, but
Chris-
There
Chris
was maybe
and-
like 15 people.
Yeah.
Chris and Justin were over here in their little corner laughing and like talking,
Making out.
and I was watching the movie. And
well, that's not true.
that's exactly what, I mean, not the making out part, but I mean, I don't know, maybe a little bit, but
You wouldn't
like
know.
they were, I wouldn't know. They were over there in their corner.
It was a good vibe though, because there was only like maybe 20 people in that showing because it was pretty early.
And there was people that were like into it. There were people clapped and people, yeah.
So it was definitely a good vibe. I'm gonna start off in saying I liked the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, no spoilers. So this was directed by Spielberg. It's a book by Ernest Cline. It's basically a nostalgia field trip where this kid is in what they call the Oasis, which is made by James Halliday. Basically a big VR world where you can do anything. Halliday dies, and he leaves...
Spoiler, dude. That's the end of the movie. Just kidding.
No, it's probably the first 5 minutes of the movie.
You know, I'm trying to do a
I
non-spoiler...
think it's in the trailer too, isn't it?
It is.
You wonder why this takes 10 minutes because y'all keep interrupting me.
Go ahead.
He left 3 challenges for them, and whoever beat all 3 of these challenges or games gets the prize. They're trying to beat this evil company called IOI. So the whole movie is about them trying to get these challenges completed and get before IOI does.
What's the prize?
The prize is control of the Oasis, which is like $500 billion.
And IOI wants it because they want to like be able to market off it, make people like buy userships for it, and all this stuff. And so they're the evil corporation.
It's a pretty good gag they do when they talk about that because it's
in the book. It's or in the movie. Yeah.
It's because it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we won't spoil it.
Yeah.
So in the book, they existed. The company.
Yeah,
existed.
IOI is still the villain, and Sorrento is the main villain.
I loved how they did IOI in this movie.
I loved Sorrento. I thought he was.
I loved his avatar. Honestly,
Man, Ben Mendelsohn is just an incredible actor.
he was the bad guy in Star Wars.
Bad guy
Rogue
in
One
Star-
as well.
Have you ever watched Bloodline on Netflix?
Uh-uh.
He's
Yeah.
really good at that too.
And you know, because Sorrento was such an over-the-top villain in the book as well, I think he played it really well.
Yeah.
Because he's very greasy and very crazy and doesn't want to get his hands dirty.
Right.
But I really like, especially his avatar in the Oasis, how just like absurd his face was.
Yeah.
He thought very highly of himself.
Yeah. If you make the Avatar based on yourself, he thought very.
He's
high.
thought very highly of himself.
That's what I loved about him.
You're just like a big old like.
He even
I'm badass.
on his tie, he had like his initials and then IOI.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty good little.
He looked like he was like metal.
Did y'all? Yeah, he did. Did y'all? Do you guys know who the voice was of IROC?
Who the hell is
That's
that?
T.J. Miller.
Yeah, the guy with the
The guy with the
skeleton.
skull? Yeah, oh, yeah.
T.J. Miller.
They
Yes.
changed. They definitely.
He's cool.
IROC
he's one of my
was
favorite
a very.
characters.
He was a very bit character in the book.
Well, he only lasted like the first maybe 10, maybe a couple of chapters, really. Cause
Yeah, he was a big part
Did he
of the
die?
beginning part.
No, he
Spoilers.
his point is that he pretty much
he read
Parsifal and H get the key, and then he tells everybody that he knows them, and they all figure out how to get the key. That's pretty much his point. And after that, he's gone.
But the way they do it in this movie, I think, is great.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea going to this T.J. Miller was IROC.
I knew he was.
He was a voice in the movie.
I knew he was in it because I looked at the cast, and I was like, well, this will fit okay because he could play the IROC in the movie or in the book also if he wanted. You know what I mean? Like,
But the way they
he
redid
fit
him
perfectly. Yeah, the way he did it was great.
There were a lot of good changes in the movie.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of really bad changes. But we'll
Well,
talk
yeah.
about in the spoilers.
Well, we'll go ahead and summarize though what we all thought of it. I thought the book had a lot of flaws to me. I didn't really. There was parts of the book I liked. There was parts I didn't like. This is the exact same way. I feel like quality-wise, they're both about the same. And honestly, I give it props because this movie could have been a complete disaster.
This is a really tough book, in my opinion, to adapt.
Yeah, it really is, and they did it really well for what it was.
John, what
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
John, what, so
Totally,
so
totally.
coming in cold, John,
Yeah.
what did you think, just as a movie in general?
I mean, it was a good movie. I kind of like the shout outs. It kind of felt forced at some moments when it came to some of the nostalgia stuff.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was an okay movie.
I thought this movie was entertaining. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
It was very long.
it was long.
Did you think it was like too long for?
It's about 2.5 hours long.
It needed to be long.
I don't
There was a
think
lot
so.
of story.
I didn't read the book, but I don't feel like it needed.
It needed to be
that long.
2.5 hours, I think.
There were some unnecessary things in it.
I would go see it.
There was a couple moments in the movie where I laughed really loud. So it is a funny movie. Like
It
if you
is.
understand the shout outs that they have.
It's honestly a lot lighter than the book too, which
Was the book pretty dark?
there's some dark parts to it, which we can
Okay.
talk about. But
So we're gonna go to spoilers now.
Justin, he just can't wait. He's
I
like,
have-
he's shaking.
I'm sorry.
he needs to talk about Artemis.
I do.
Artemis was my favorite part of it.
I have my Artemis pen right here.
The Avatar, not the real girl.
yeah,
I have my Artemis pen here.
the Avatar was something.
That dress.
I keep it that scene.
All right. Okay.
Can
Well,
you feel this?
So skip. So you might want to come back when you see it.
yeah.
Come listen to this when you see it.
Some might say you might want to listen to this part with protection. Is that what he says? Protection?
Yeah. She said it.
She said it, right.
Says, did you brought protection, right?
Which was not what they were talking about at all. But
Okay, so
Which
spoilers.
made it kind of funny. Let's be honest.
It wasn't
the
protection.
First,
I'm sorry. It was preparation.
Oh, did you come prepared?
Did you come prepared? That's
the first challenge was a race, and I was honestly looking for like a Mario Kart type of
Yeah,
race car.
it could have been.
I thought that would have been really cool.
They mentioned Mario Kart at one point in it.
Did they?
Yeah. It's
At
at
the end.
the end when
Okay.
they're in the van. But yeah, so
But
they
anyway.
changed that drastically from the book.
So what was in the book was he was on his school. They didn't show the school in this, which I kind of liked. to
They
be
mentioned
honest.
it though.
They mentioned the school. I'm glad he wasn't in school, but that's a whole other thing. He went to a Dungeons and Dragons cave. He had to basically follow the book that was set in the scenario. Then he went and fought. He and I fought. He went to meet this Lich King, this big like monster wizard thing. And then they played Joust, or what did you call it, Chris?
Joist.
Joist. He thought Joust.
And
was
who's to
Joist.
say what's the correct way to pronounce
Joust
it?
is. So he had to beat the
Pretty
Lich.
sure it's Joust, dude.
He had to play.
I'm not on your side when it comes to this.
He had to play the Lich King and beat him twice out of 3. Then he got the copper key and he got another riddle, and then he had to go to Halliday's house, which you see at the end of the movie, and play through, which I thought was. I wish they kind of put it in the movie, was the War Games. So he had to go through the movie War Games and say every single line in the movie.
Which would be a really fun game in real life.
The way that
Yes.
the way that Justin just described it, it sounded like the Joey thing on Friends where he's describing his game show that he's doing. He's like, "What do you mean? You know what I'm talking about?"
That's a great episode. Yeah, you're right. Ridiculously overly complicated.
Yeah.
Well, what's complicated? You spin the wheel of mayhem to go up the ladder a chance, you go past the mud hut, through the rainbow ring to get to the golden monkey, you yank his tail, and boom, you're in Paradise Pond.
They did a good job, though.
It is
with,
complicated, though.
They did a good job with in the book. He can't leave, so he's still in school when it starts, and he can't leave the planet that
he's
school's
poor.
on because he's poor, and they still
The
captured
planet? Is that what you said?
That. Yeah, because there's like so many different planets.
So to
In
get
the
to,
Oasis?
In the Oasis.
to get to
okay,
a planet, you
okay,
have to
okay.
pay or have a ship, and that costs money.
And so he got to go to school for free, but he couldn't leave that planet. All he could do was go to school there, and nobody thought there'd be anything at this planet. And then that's what it turns out where everything's at. And he did a good job in this movie of still making him poor. Like he had to stay in the back to collect all the coins so that he could pay for gas. You know what I mean? That race scene was really incredible, special effect wise.
It was, and we saw it in 3D, which I hate 3D.
It was
Yeah,
a
it
lot
was
to
good.
take in.
Yeah, it was lots.
At the very beginning of the movie, up until I would say the end of the first racing, that was a lot of 3D to me. It kind of hurt my eyes. It was
Well,
a lot to
honestly,
take in.
I mean, I think the special effects in general were just a lot to take in. I think that's what it's supposed to be because they talk about it in the book too, how like colors in the Oasis are actually better than they are in
And
real
I
life.
really, I thought I would get really tired of them being their avatars. Their avatars, it was really well done, I think.
It was. So the main guy is Cyclops in the X-Men movies, the new one.
Really?
In like Dark Phoenix
Yeah.
and
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I thought he was really good in this.
he was a good actor. He did a good job.
I thought they were all really good, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really because I really like the way they designed those characters. The only difference is, I don't know if H was I think they changed H. They never really described him, I think.
No, they did. They
Was
were
he just a dude?
no. H was a large black woman.
No. His
Oh yeah, his avatar is just a normal looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that change.
Yeah. He was
thought
a
that
big
was-
ogre looking thing.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Artemis was supposed to be just her normal self, but like elf looking.
Right.
I think. And then Parsifal.
No. Artemis was the exact same except for
I
she
thought
had a
her
scar.
ears were.
Maybe their ears were.
I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Pointy.
I know something. Right?
Hey, stop playing with my pen, okay? And then Parsifal was the same.
They do the racing. I guess that they race every single day to get to the finish line to get this final key.
what they
because
say is that
someone
figured out it was there, so now every day they try to race to beat it, and nobody
Yeah.
can ever beat it.
no one can ever beat it because there's all these nostalgia type of things. There's King Kong. There's
Jurassic Park,
Jurassic
T-Rex.
Park,
Trying to destroy
T-Rex that are like taking out all these different cars. There was like all these obstacles, and then at the very end there was King Kong, and then King Kong prevents you from getting to the finish line, like right before the finish line.
Right.
So what is it?
He goes back to like a library type thing, and the library has a butler guy, which we can talk about later.
I kind of like this idea.
The butler was not in the book.
I like
it was well
this
done.
idea of like a library.
Yeah.
In the book, it's literally just a book,
Yeah, well, they all. Yeah, he wrote a book.
and everybody has it.
Okay.
I think it's like his.
So this was like an
almanacs.
archives type of thing.
Right.
It was
And
it was like a library.
It's
It was like a digital library.
It's a library for Holiday, the guy who made this game.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows that this guy made this game too, like, and you have to get to know him really well to understand where he might have hid the key.
So you
And
can
it was good because it like if it was just a book, they would just be reading it. Here, it's like a
You get to
virtual type of thing.
Yeah, they
and
had, like-
they needed that for the movie.
and you wouldn't get to see the guy who played Holiday. Do y'all know his name?
It's the guy from.
He's a good actor. I
It's
like
the guy
him.
from Bridge of Spies. That's
I-
where he got famous because he was like the spy.
Really? Oh yeah, he's he
spy.
won an Oscar for
Yeah.
being a supporting actor.
Yeah, and
I-
then he's also in Dunkirk, which he's also really good in.
I loved the portrayal of Holiday in this.
They nailed it.
They nailed it. He's supposed to be this hermit, this guy who does not have any social skills. He's obsessed with the 80s and 90s, or just the 80s in the book, but everything in this movie. And he captures it perfectly.
Yeah.
Like the mannerisms he gives them, the way he talks, the way he interacts with Og, it's awesome.
Yeah, nailed it.
It gets it to like a funny moment where like he says something awkward, you can't help yourself but laugh.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just so awkward. It's like almost kind of Office type of
Yeah.
humor.
Yeah, and he nailed it.
And so he figures out that from the scene where he kicks Og out of the company, that you have to drive backwards, and he's able to drive backwards under all the obstacles, get past King Kong.
Which is also really cool special effects because
Yeah.
you can see all the obstacles happening, but he's underneath.
Yeah, so the first race it had all these obstacles and like when you when you're watching the movie, he's looking up and he's like underneath the track that he was going on.
Really cool.
During the first race.
And so he gets the key and a new riddle after that, and then his name goes up on the scoreboard.
And he tells all his friends, and his friends go up on the scoreboard too.
Right, which is different.
So that's one of the things I didn't like too much about the movie.
Yeah.
But I understand why they did it.
Yeah.
I understand why.
I didn't mind it. Well, why didn't you guys like it?
So in the books, it's every man when they say first.
It's one
to
book.
What?
You said
books.
So in the book, sorry. In the book, it's every man for himself. When they say first to the egg, whatever, that's not in the book, but it's kind of the same thing.
But yeah, they also at the end he kind of calls them his clan. They're not really clans, and like they never really want to be a team ever. So then they get the third key.
No,
I just mess with you. All right, no, let's just talk about the movie though. Let's not go into the book. I think we should talk mostly about like what we liked about the movie.
Oh, okay. So
my criticisms about
my favorite was the
very
middle of the movie when it came to just kind of the shining.
So the shining part was incredible.
That was really well done, really cool.
It was a good way to do what they did in the book,
right?
And
I like how Chris said, "Hey, well, let's just not talk about the book and just see the first I
figured that was going to be
a reference to the book."
I thought the movies were going to be cut from them.
Yes, thank you. This was a big point we talked about.
Yeah.
It's something we wanted to see in the movie.
We did. We wanted to see some kind of movie interaction, and I was happy it wasn't a Spielberg movie because I was like, well, I don't really want to see. I mean,
it was a friend of Spielberg though. It was a Kubrick movie.
Oh, were they friends?
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick directed it, and they were friends. He actually finished. I can't remember the last movie he finished for him, but he finished it up.
Well, The Shining is a great choice.
No, that was really
and
good.
the twins were funny.
H not liking scary movies and just going room to room and just messing everything up.
So
I thought
yeah,
was great.
like H, he runs into the two girls in The Shining, and then he goes into
blood in the elevator.
Yeah, the blood in the elevator scene.
And then he sees the girl in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Which is, they did a good job. It's a lot creepier in the movie, obviously. But they did a really good job. And then,
here it was supposed to be like a humorous type of scene.
Oh, hey, naked lady.
yeah. And then like she tries to kiss her or something. He's like, no, I'm just going to go for it. They did a good job, though. Was that the same actress? I don't remember. I only saw The Shining once.
So, I don't know.
I'm sure it was from the movie, and
like
then they
computer generated version.
Probably,
yeah.
So
then they dance with zombies.
So yeah. So H starts fighting a zombie, and then they kind of discover that who's the guy that created it again?
James Halliday and
James
Kira.
Halliday and his love interest.
Kira, which I get more into in the book. In the book, they get more into the Og and Kira.
Let's not talk about the book.
Well, it's important because it happened in the movie. They just don't really go into it too.
Yes.
Well, they find a picture of them together, and then they find out that they need to go to a ballroom. They go to this ballroom, and it's weird. She's dancing with zombies.
Yeah.
Do you understand that kind of like was that a reference to anything? I don't think so.
They say it was a reference to the very first game he did.
Oh, we didn't mention the dance scene before this scene.
Yeah, let's talk about the dance scene.
Okay, so they go to this club.
There's a very similar thing in the book.
Is there?
Yeah, it's very similar, but it's a little bit different.
Before the Shining scene, what is his name? Parzival and.
Oh, you have to know her name. You have to remember her name.
I gotta go to the pins that they gave us because it has both their names on it. All right.
Hey, put that back over here. I need her by me.
Okay. So they decide to go on
Justin wants her on Papa's lap.
Is that what you've been rubbing your leg?
Okay, all right.
She's like in this like really weird dress, like kind of revealing dress.
For an avatar,
yeah. And then she's like all touching him, and
she's like all over him.
Yeah. It's like
it's really weird.
I mean, I guess in the book they say that no. So in the movie they don't know each other because you remember they're in the race scene, and they don't know each other. He's like, oh, it's Artemis. She's famous. I love her, and she has no idea who he is, right? And then literally it's like what, a month later, maybe less, that they're at this party, and she's like, rubbing all over him.
Well, they've already met each other at the time, didn't they?
No.
I'm going to assume.
He knew who she was because she's famous.
So I'm going to assume from the book they were probably chatting and talking to each other.
Yeah.
I think there were some time skips. Yeah, that's one of the things that they didn't really do right. Is it happened really quick, but in the book, they talk to each other a lot.
Yeah.
Like they're literally chatting almost every second of the day.
So he's wearing like a suit that like makes him feel anything, right? Because it's all virtual reality. But he's wearing a suit, and she's like, "Can you feel this?" And when she touches him, you can see it like lights up where he.
Did you come prepared?
She says, "Can you come prepared?" And then
that was a really weird. What was she talking about?
She said it like 3 times.
Was it talking about the suit? That
Yeah.
She was like, okay.
And then she says, "Can you feel this?" Starts at his knees, rubs up, and they show him like in his like virtual, like his real world with his suit, and it like almost like stops in the crotch. It like definitely covers the entire crotch area as he goes.
I got the crotch microfiber insert.
I was about to say, okay, so the crotch area is like bright.
And I guess that's how
it's
Then
lit
she
up.
goes.
It's lit up.
Because then after she says you came prepared, she goes, "Oh, I can tell." I'm like, "What?"
she's probably prepared also.
But yeah,
Did anybody
Then
catch
she got-
that?
I wish they would have showed her that scene where she just like has her hands out like you feel that?
the actual like girl that's doing the virtual. Okay, yeah.
They showed them.
So
crazy
that was like the
movie.
scene, and then at the very end of that scene, they find out who he actually is, like who the avatar of the Artemis. Is it Artemis? God, wait.
Artemis.
Parzival.
Whatever.
His name's Wade Watts. They figured out the whole thing was just weird.
Yeah, he says his name to her because he's kind of confessing his love to her, which is weird because he's only known her for like a day.
That's what we were talking about. I think it's only a day, but she also felt him up.
She's a slut.
One of my
There's a lot of, they talk about how famous she is in the first scene. I bet it's because she's easy. She gets around. That's what I think.
Everyone knows.
Everyone
knows her.
One of the big criticisms of the book was the really awkward way these characters talk to each other.
Here you go.
Especially the
Justin's
love story.
Talking about the book again. Is that all you have?
No. I think this is important to it.
Okay.
Because in the book they're like 15, 16 years old, 17. So they're young.
Right.
So and then here
So they jump on each other like rabbits.
Yeah.
Those hormones.
And
we all knew Artemis in high school.
We all know who she was.
What they don't do a good job of conveying in this movie
You guys will
is...
say her name in the count of 3, see if we're all thinking the same one. We all went to the same high school.
I'm trying to create content.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm trying to create content, and Chris is over here making jokes.
We'll probably see her at our 10th
We
year.
probably will. Oh, that's coming up. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Are we all gonna go? Can we all go together? Can we all wear matching clothes?
We should all just come in.
Bring files of our
Welcome
podcast.
to another man's nostalgia.
Yes, we are the 3 from the podcast. I know you all listen.
Can I start creating content now?
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
No.
We can wear Letterman jackets? Alright, good. They're ready.
So
You had a Letterman jacket, right?
yeah,
Okay.
one of the things this movie failed to
Justin, you went to our high school, right?
I don't know, y'all keep forgetting me.
Go ahead. So what, tell us about the book.
Justin, I didn't read the book. Please tell me about it.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna ask this question. Be honest. Did you think they conveyed that they were nerds in this movie?
No.
That was the issue for me. Was that there was all this awkwardness?
Yeah, I know.
But
okay.
I did not feel in the book they conveyed that these people were outcast nerds and shut-ins.
And there's a way you can do it.
I feel like they did it with Parzival.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No.
I think they did it with. Yes, they did.
No.
Not to the
Really?
No, because he was pretty well.
He was
liked
an outcast. He was poor. He was outcast.
But that was a lot of people.
But I think the difference is that they don't really show much of these guys out of the Oasis world, and it's
That's
fine.
true.
They don't need to because the Oasis world is so interesting. They don't need to show them out of it. So I think it's fine. But I think, and the difference is, I think, is that they only really show him around people that are interested in the same stuff as him. So you just get the idea that everybody is. In the book, they do a better job of saying that not everybody's.
He talks
But
about.
I disagree with that because when it comes to the very beginning of the race scene, he names off the people that are like into this kind of trying to find the key, and then
Hunters.
yeah, and then the company. So I feel like you kind of got an idea that it's just.
But so is every other single character he meets.
But you know who was nerdier was those IOI people they showed at the end, that were like really into it.
That was more of what Wade
been.
was in the book, and
Really?
I get this. They want him to be somebody everybody could relate to.
Right. You can't have him over the top. No.
It's really hard to relate to Book Wade because he's like a class A dork, like a super nerd, super shut in, almost zero social skills.
Yeah.
So like me.
No.
Yeah.
Like me. Yeah.
That's who it reminds me of.
They had I thought it was kind of cool. They had like kind of like a Call of Duty type of game where you had to like fight everyone and
Yeah, on the Doom level, which I thought
the
was cool.
Doom,
That
or
was-
like I guess what's popular now, the Fortnite type of thing, where you have to like kill everyone that's like in your area.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a little off topic. I feel like Fortnite's a little boring because we always get first place when the three of us play together.
Always.
No, we're real bad.
It always
We
happens.
We're real
did,
bad
we
at
did
it.
skip something because it's going to be important after the second challenge.
Uh-huh.
That Sorrento called Wade because he knew who he was and destroyed his the stacks.
Right. So anyway, so then they get to the third gate, which
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, his aunt and like whoever she was dating died,
Then
Right.
they find
and then he joins the resistance.
which they never talk
which
about
is
again.
stupid that all like that like literally all of them are within like a block of each other. He has like these five best friends.
No, I didn't understand that.
And two of
And
them are like Asian, and they
The-
sound really thick accent. Like, why would they be in the book? They're in
Japan.
Japan. Why would
You were
they
about
be?
to say China.
No, it wasn't. I was about to say Vietnam.
Korea.
Korea.
All right, so yeah, the Oasis is all over the world, right? Mm-hmm. But
Right.
in this movie, they kind of make it seem like
It's just
the
Ohio.
whole entire Oasis is in Ohio.
It really didn't feel that way.
All right, so throughout the whole entire movie, IOI is going through all these challenges with the main characters.
Right.
And it always seems like they don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it showed IOI in 6th place.
Yes, it's Sorrento. Sorrento always gets it first, and then it's everybody else behind.
And then it's everyone else, and then
Yes.
there's like a big scoreboard, and then at the very bottom there's like a tiny scoreboard.
Oh, okay.
I think
Yes.
IOI was on
I did
that.
like the scene when.
But when it came to the like one of my favorite scenes of the movie was when it was the second challenge and everyone was going through The Shining.
Oh yeah, that was a great.
And they're all
scene.
like dying.
Yeah, they're all like getting like killed by that
So,
woman who's a zombie.
Yeah, so everyone's going through The Shining, and it's when all the main characters already went through The Shining. So IOI figures out, hey, we gotta go to The Shining.
Right.
So they're all in The Shining, and then everyone's like dying, and you can hear everyone screaming in
It's
the
like
background.
it's like horrific deaths and then dying by accidents and stuff. I think every time they showed like mass people dying on that platform, I cracked up. Like it just all turned red. It was like it was always pretty humorous the way it was done.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so they get through the second key.
So they're back at the Resistance headquarters, which they never talk about again.
True.
And they find him, and they kidnap Artemis and bring her to the loyalty centers.
And then for some reason, H is just ready to pick up Parzival or Wade, which doesn't make any sense. Like, why was she like automatically outside and grabs him? It was really dumb. And
Anyway.
and that reveal was
Anyway.
really undersold because that reveal is really good in the book when he has literally no idea that she is a black.
So here's how it happens. I'll give a quick synopsis of what happens in the book. real
Okay.
quick. I hate you.
Do I had the audiobook. Do you
It's
want
a
me to
big
play it?
switch.
Like,
We should just play this whole chapter of the reveal.
it's gonna be an 8-hour long episode because
This was a big switch, and it really made me mad. It's actually Wade that gets himself kidnapped. He finds out what they're doing. He hacks into their system. He goes into their loyalty centers, which is actually just the indebtor center. So he becomes an indentured servant, and he hacks into their systems to find out what they're doing. And then he escapes from the IOI center and meets up with everybody. And that's how he meets with H.
I'm gonna edit that out. I'm just kidding.
Doesn't repeat that again. I'm lost. No, I really am. I'm lost. I don't know. What
He gets himself captured by IOI, In the
He gets them
book,
self-captured.
yes.
You know how she got herself captured because she like lets
Okay.
her
Yeah.
go.
So it's actually him.
Why did she do that?
So it's actually him.
Yeah.
In the and so he actually puts.
Every time Justin says or John says Parsival, he has to look at his badge.
I gotta figure out what name.
Okay, good.
Which one?
So here's what I did not. So here's like the big thing in the book.
You want to tell about the leg rabbit?
What? Oh, yeah, we'll get there. That was weird. And in the book, Daito dies. Like IOI like goes into his apartment and throws him out of his window, and it's like really intense.
Which one is that?
He sees
the tall Japanese guy. You know, not the little kid, the taller one.
Yeah, he actually sees the video of it.
Yeah, he literally gets thrown
when
out.
he's hacking in, and it's a really big deal.
It's a lot more intense, and I think it made IOI a lot scarier, which they did not do a good job of in this.
So do you think it would have made it just a lot more darker, a lot
I think
more
it made it
less
more dramatic.
kid friendly?
I don't know about kid. I think it just made it more like intense. Like the stakes would have been higher.
Because
No. Like, why do you think they changed the mood? Do you think they just wanted to
they
make
wanted
it
to give
more
Artemis
kid-friendly?
more screen time.
Well, no, why Daito didn't die? I think they.
Oh, but Daito?
Yeah.
I think they just wanted it to be more kid friendly, a happier ending.
They wanted everybody there. My issue was that was my favorite part of the book where he went into the
That's my least favorite part of the book. I thought that's when the book started falling apart.
See, I liked that part. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was a really big change and jump in character for Wade that he was getting that brave.
Oh yeah, Justin, I agree.
So back to the movie.
I hate all these.
so then they go to the third key, which is head to play adventure and find the Easter egg of adventure.
It's at his castle,
He's at his castle.
At whose castle?
James Halliday's castle. His I can't remember
wizards.
the name. Iraq something.
But there was lava.
Armagnac.
Arnak.
And
yeah.
they made this force field. Okay, so like earlier in the movie, they get this like
Orb.
orb that was level 99 magic or something like that. I have no idea what that
Yeah,
means.
it's some magical item.
Yeah.
You have to be level 99 to contain it. That's what they say.
Okay.
And so Artemis goes around and basically goes and deactivates it.
Right. And then they all fight. And then you have Iron Giant, which is okay. It's pretty cool. So what's the name of the robot that Daito becomes?
Oh, it's a Gundam. It's the original Gundam.
Oh, that was awesome.
Mobile
That was an
suit.
awesome
Like
scene.
when you
Oh, I
think about
loved
it, what are
was
the
so
odds that
cool.
you'll get to see Iron Giant, Gundam, and Mecha Godzilla fight
Which
each other?
I
It's
was
pretty cool.
I said that before the fight began to Chris. I go, I hope there's Mecha Godzilla, but it's probably won't.
Yeah, because
I didn't think it was going to be in there, and they put it in there.
It was pretty cool.
That was really cool.
And I love they changed it from. It was actually Ultraman in the beginning.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Ultraman is, it's basically a guy in a suit from Japan who fights by punching people.
Like Power Rangers.
Basically.
Yeah.
But Gundam was a much cooler choice.
Gundam was so cool.
Yeah, and then honestly, the whole fight scene was really cool. You had Ninja Turtles. You had you like listed off like 4 or 5 things you saw.
There was Halo. There was Overwatch.
Halo, yeah.
Joker, Harley Quinn.
I didn't see Overwatch.
You had Chucky,
Yeah.
which you
Tracer.
Oh, the Chucky part was great.
you got your one PG-13 fuck in there.
All right. I feel so bad for anybody that's listening that has the clean lyrics. Like, oh, clean. No, it's fine. You can say it.
It was good.
Yeah,
I like that
That's
part.
our that's our one.
that's our one.
We just can't say another one.
We are still a PG-13 podcast because we said it once.
It was but that was a really well done fight.
It was.
You know, I read a lot of reviews that said there was too much CGI. I didn't think so.
It was good CGI. Like, obviously it's CGI because it's PlayStation in a video game, but I thought it was really well done.
It
Like,
made it. The
None of it
CGI
was
makes
glaring.
sense because it's a video game.
none of it was glaringly bad. Okay, so anyway, so then, so he gets. Let's skip ahead a little bit. He gets the key because he beats Adventure. He finds the Easter egg in Adventure, which is an actual Easter egg
Yep, it's a real thing.
where that guy put his name in the game. And what I really liked about it is that he's sitting in front of the wizard, and the wizard gives him a contract. This is not happening in the book. Gives him a contract, says sign here, and he says no, that's not something you would do. But for whatever reason, I forget the reason. And then the wizard's like, I need to make sure you're legit. Because if it was Sorrento, he would have walked in there, signed it, and he probably would have lost anyways. You know what I mean? Anyways, he wins, basically. What I hated about it, though, is at the end, real-life Sorrento is coming after him in the van.
Yeah.
He opens it up. He has the egg in his hands, and Sorrento just doesn't shoot him.
No, what I didn't like about
Well,
that,
why didn't he shoot him?
what I didn't like about that scene was so they're driving in this van while he is trying to get this Easter egg, like he's trying to put all the keys in.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you see like the main antagonist, like he's like just pulls up
Yeah.
right behind him, and he's like ramming this van that they're in. I'm like, why would you have him? He wouldn't really be there. Like in real life, do you think he would have
Caught
got
up
in
with
a
him?
car and tried to like find him?
Probably not. But that's how it happened. Or it doesn't happen like that at all in the movie. But yeah, I mean, probably you're probably right. You probably would. Yeah. So then they all live happy ever after. He splits all the winnings. He
What do
splits
they call him? The something 5?
the high five.
That's right.
It's a high five.
That's in the book. But yeah, he splits all the money, which he does split all the money in them, but he does it because they help him at the end because he can't beat it by himself. In this, he's just like, these are my clan. Oh, I love the scene when he's like trying to get all the people.
Wait. So at the very end of the book, he splits it,
Yeah, because at the
but
end,
one of them dies.
so he splits it with 4.
So it's the
In a good way, he gets a lot more money because Dialta died. He's a lucky guy.
Maybe he had a
if
part in that.
If only one other person died, he would have got even more money.
And if everybody died, he'd get all
Oh,
of it.
dude, he should have killed them all off. Anyways, that was pretty much the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It was okay.
I was entertained.
Yeah, the ending fight was cool. Special effects were cool.
I mean, I usually fall asleep in like movies that last more than 2 hours, but like
You
this
stayed
movie-
awake
I did stay awake.
until the end when you're about to fall asleep. Yeah, okay, so let's do favorite characters and
Artemis.
least favorite.
Artemis.
But let's put it this way. If you hated a character more than you loved a character, talk about that one character. So you hate Artemis.
No, I didn't hate Artemis. I hated the way they characterized her. Because in the book, she's very standoffish. She doesn't get buddy as quick. They don't share stuff, which is really more of a criticism of everything else. They're still very one-track mind. I only want this. They don't want to be together. And they try to make her more of a hero than she actually is in the book.
Right.
Which is okay. That's fine they chose that route. I just thought the way the book portrayed her was a lot better. Mm-hmm. They made it to where she was more, I thought, in my opinion, a stronger character.
Yeah.
She's fine here. The actors who played it was great. I think the way they did it, even when the parts where she kind of switched with Wade from the book in there, I liked it. Mm-hmm. It was well done. I just wish they used the book Artemis a lot more.
Yeah.
Because she's built up more in the book as this super nerd, as somebody who is even more well known than Parsifal. Mm-hmm. Like no one really knows what she actually looks like until Parsifal meets her.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm very, very nitpicky on it.
Yeah.
But I just thought since she's central to the book and that relationship is, no matter how awkward and cringy it is in the book, it did kind of take me off a little bit.
My favorite character was Holiday, probably.
Man, I loved Holiday so much.
They just really did a good job with him, and everything he said was really funny. And I like how the end, when he's trying to get the crystal key, he's swerving around, right? Because he's in the car and it's getting chased, and he's falling over. And Holiday's like, "Do you want it or not?" Remember that?
Yeah.
That was a
I like
good
how
line.
he has to search for the egg
Yeah, that's
in
a good
his
line.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
So
did he write?
I really don't know who my favorite character was, honestly.
Really?
Holiday was definitely my favorite.
I feel like you
Yeah.
laughed the most at either Holiday. I feel like you laughed at H a lot, or IROC.
IROC was definitely great.
Which one was I rock?
He was a good
Big
change.
skull guy.
Oh yeah.
TJ Miller.
Yeah.
He was probably,
The cricket is
yeah,
neck.
he was probably my favorite.
I'll tell you-
I liked it. Would y'all watch it again? Like maybe not in theaters, but would you like watch it? Would you like rent it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if it was like with people that haven't seen it before,
Yeah,
yeah, I would
yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
I really don't think that they developed the characters really well when it came to the main character.
No.
They don't.
It's
Or
more of a
the main characters. I think the only character that they really developed well is Holiday, and who's the guy from the
Ben Melson,
corporation.
Sorrento.
Yeah.
I think yeah.
Those
but
are the only two characters that they developed.
I think
really
it's
well.
just a testament also there of how good of the actors those two are. You know what I mean? Like the other ones weren't bad.
I mean, they're older, but it was the writing. Like
Right, the writing,
they
yeah.
didn't
they were
have.
they were fleshed out characters.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that when your whole thing is based off of just Wade. Like the whole movie, the whole book is written from his perspective.
But you would think that he would give him some kind of background before, like, he entered into like where they showed him.
They try. Like I said, they do when Wade's talking to you in the book. It's a much better way of introducing to.
Okay.
So we're not doing points, but we can give Steven Spielberg some points. We'll put it on the podcast.
I give Steven Spielberg a point.
Do you?
I was very.
Dude, he's gonna have more points than you.
That's a good point. You sure?
I was really worried about this movie because the last really big budget movies he's done was World of Worlds and Indiana Jones. And those both sucked.
War of the Worlds wasn't that bad.
World of Worlds was terrible. Anyways, so I haven't seen a good Spielberg movie in a while.
Right.
And I thought this was a good movie. I don't think it was great, but it wasn't. It definitely wasn't the stinker I thought it was going to be because the trailers do no justice to this movie.
I agree. I think Spielberg. I feel like this movie could have been absolutely terrible, and it was actually pretty good.
I think he's redeemed himself in my eyes because when I heard Spielberg was going to do this, I was really, really, really nervous.
Spielberg gets a point for me. Is Spielberg get a point for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's beating you, and I think he's beating me too.
Yeah, he has 3 points. I don't remember what y'all have.
I think I have 2. I think you have 2 too. Or you have like 2.5.
Who knows?
Next week, we're going to do something a little exciting. We're going to go back to TV. We haven't done a TV show in a while. John, what are we going to watch?
Oh, we're going to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant.
Now, there's
there's a bunch of variations
Yeah.
when it comes to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's a new one out that's right now. It's animated. There was one out before that one, I believe.
We're watching the OG.
Actually, I feel like there was like around 4, but there was 2 kind of, I don't know how you would describe drawing animation. How would you describe it? I guess yeah, drawing animation, and the second drawing animation was my favorite when I was kind of growing up. But we're gonna watch the first one that ever came out, the really corny one.
Nice.
The original Teenage Mutant Ninja
It actually
Turtles.
came out before we were born, but they played it a bunch. It was
really?
It was still
Really?
It was still really big.
That's a fun fact that I didn't know
I think
about.
it was like 88 or something.
It was late 80s, but
Yeah.
it was so big it went on. It essentially bled into Power Rangers. Because I remember the movies. I remember the movies coming out.
Yeah, I watched it when I was, and it's still pretty big now. Like I still see people wearing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shirts and everything
that's
like that.
debatable if it's big.
Well, if it's as good as Power Rangers, then we're gonna be in for a treat.
It's pretty corny. It is pretty corny.
So that's gonna be next week. Thank you guys for listening. As a reminder, you can reach us at anothermanspod@gmail.com if you want to talk to us, or you can find us on Another Man's Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. This is where John puts up all the pictures that we talk about.
Yeah.
Like the Nurse Joy and Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny, who's hotter. If you want to keep on saying who, give us your input. Justin really wants to know.
Yes.
I'm
taking a poll.
He has his opinions, but he wants to know what everybody else.
And my opinion is right. So let's see who's right.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so yeah, that's where we put up all these pictures. If you want to definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed.
Yeah, please give us a review on iTunes. We don't really know what it does. I'm sure it helps.
We'll do a quick shout out here. We forgot to mention it last week. Shout out to Cody, Indiana, the first person to review our podcast, and it was an incredible review.
Is that his last name?
Cody, Indiana is
or
his
is it
name
Cody
on...
from Indiana?
No, I think it's Cody, Indiana.
All
Cody,
right.
if we're wrong, I'm sorry, but thank you for the...
Or Indiana, if we're wrong, I'm sorry.
There you go. Really sorry, but thank you so much for the review. It was a really good review, and it made us feel good about it. You want to say anything about that or no?
No, it was good. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the read.
There were some errors.
You get 3 points also,
Oh, wait,
Cody.
what is it? Be quiet.
Shut up. You get 3 points also, Cody.
Cody, you're beating me.
You're in second place.
I kind of hate you right now. But...
All right, yeah. So that'd be great if y'all could also do the same thing and like us on or send us a review on iTunes.
Be honest. If you don't like it, tell us ways to.
No,
improve.
I don't
Preferably
like that.
do
No.
that like in an email, not publicly. Tell us what but seriously, tell us. So we're gonna start doing something a little different. Let's just bring this up too while we're at it. So we're about to get into blockbuster season where a lot of like big movies are coming out. Unfortunately, I hate this, but a lot of these are reboots or sequels, which I think is kind of sad, but that's where we're at. So we're gonna start in a couple of weeks when I think the first one we're gonna do is Avengers. We're gonna do Spider-Man, but we're gonna go ahead and start doing. Like for Avengers, we'll do Spider-Man. For Jurassic World, we'll do Jurassic Park. We'll do like movies that are still come out in our range, but yeah, it's gonna be
that relate to the movies that we would be seeing.
right. And then the other weeks, tell us what you want us to do. You know, we'll figure it out. If you guys give us a we've already done a couple
I
suggestions.
really want to do Smart House.
Smart House. We'll definitely do Smart House. At
These
some point.
original.
And if y'all want us to
Smart House.
review movies that
Yeah.
are coming out new, certain ones, we'll do that.
They probably won't.
No,
because
don't make me do
because
that.
this didn't go well.
Don't make me do that.
No, but we'll take it in all suggestions. Last week was Rugrats. That was a suggestion we had from somebody. So just keep giving us suggestions, and we'll we'll
That was
do
actually a really good suggestion.
yeah. And then like we'll do is like so like I had a friend of mine say y'all should do Rugrats, and I was like, you know, I really liked Rugrats when I was little. So we did Rugrats based on me because I really liked it. So when we get a suggestion, we'll kind of give it to one of the three of us. Be like, I watch that the most. It's my show. I own it. And we'll fight to the death to defend it. Thank you guys for listening. We will see you next week with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Thank you.